I missed where that was. Hey, Jim, how are you? Good to see you, sir.
But by a quick show of hands, if you have a Masternode, could you raise your hand? And fantastic. That's a pretty good representation. So I think people will we'll give it just one more minute, officially get started on 8:05 as people come in. But it's exciting to get so many Masternode holders together in a single room talking about Masternode. So certainly I hope you listen to Jim carefully and write your questions down, and at the end we will have a question and answer session. And hopefully you will learn something tonight. I expect that I will.
Colo, just an FYI, my rebroadcast using Google Meet is not working.
Oh, okay.
So
okay.
I thought we had worked out all those details, but did not. So I'll hit at about 5:45, maybe a little.
Okay. Okay, no problem.
I thought we fixed that, Mark.
So did I, but evidently it's not working right now.
Don't want to behave. Yeah. I think it's amazing that we've come to the point where we know so many different platforms. Before COVID, you might be on GoToMeeting, and now you're on all of them. So to be able to overlap them and share meetings and all that kind of stuff, somebody's got to be working on that.
I would agree.
I am at the moment in Washington, D.C., outside of Howard University. So all the police cars you hear passing by might be a little loud. So I'm going to let Jim roll with some of it. I'm going to try to be on mute as much as possible.
Okay, Colo, can you pass over the
Yes, I will.
share, please?
Yes.
And let me see where I put it. That's where I put it. That is the wrong one. Oh no, that's right. No, that's the wrong one.
Okay, Jim, you should have it. And I appreciate you for doing this. I was excited when you started telling me some of your findings. So I think there's just a couple more people that are joining right now, and then I'll hand over the reins.
Okay.
I think that just last two people I see just it says joining now, and then
Sounds good. Can everybody see my title screen?
yes, I can.
Okay. I have too many screens in this office, and sometimes I show people the wrong stuff.
All right, go ahead, Jim. And again, I really appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely, Akolo. Hello, everybody, and thanks for joining the call tonight. My name's Jim Bell. I have a company called ZMB Invest, and ZMB Invest does a lot of things. But here recently, in the last 8 or 9 months, I've gone pretty deep into the crypto space. And I was sharing with Akolo on a couple of calls ago, maybe 2-3 weeks ago. There was a discussion around, which coins to buy, and I had blurted out, I think that Guapcoin, from a Masternode point of view, is the best Masternode coin that's out there. And it had a lot to do with the numbers and what was going on with everything. So Akolo asked me if I could put something together, and I said sure. And so I'm going to take you guys through this deck. I'm going to try and do it relatively quickly, and then we'll leave time for questions. But if there's something that is absolutely, you're having trouble moving forward because you need a little bit more on it, just jump in and let me know, and I can go back in and cover it. Just got a few more that are joining. Maybe Akolo got those.
Yeah, anyone you see, I'll add them in.
Okay, great. Thanks. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, it's the disclaimer, and you've seen these every time somebody does this, whereby they need to let you know that they're not financial advisors. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm not an analyst. I'm not any kind of financial fiduciary. I'm not a lawyer. I'm not a crystal ball fortune teller. I am an investor. I'm an entrepreneur, and I have an IT background. So that tends to lend itself into a lot of different spaces, particularly with crypto, because it is so IT dependent. It's heavy with that. So I was not a developer, but I can talk to developers. And so that's what kind of gave me a leg up on being able to create some of my own stuff. So I'm just sharing what I've done with you and some of my numbers so that everybody can kind of get an idea, especially if you're thinking about investing into a Masternode. There's some things that, we can kind of talk about at the end around my point of view. So let's do this, because I always like to level set with a baseline, not assuming that everybody knows the full piece of it, right? So I would suggest that these are the basics about Guapcoin, which is basically that it's a cryptocurrency coin. It runs on the Guapcoin blockchain, and you can get that information at the Guapcoin website. And I think probably everybody here knows that, guapcoin.org. The foundation maintains a vision and then a mission, and they handle the technology for the Guapcoin blockchain and the coin itself. And of course, that's Tavana, and then, of course, Akolo are involved in that. I'm sharing in their mission. I'm fully in on the mission. I agree with what they're doing. And so my perspective is, how can we help other people to kind of share in some of the things that I've learned? But this is where the basis is starting. I'm assuming everybody knows Guapcoin. I'm assuming everyone knows what a Masternode is. I'm going to talk to you a little bit about how the Masternode works, because that's not really clear and easy to follow sometimes. And we're going to start with talking a little bit about blockchain, because blockchain is the technology behind all the cryptocurrencies, right? Whether it's Bitcoin or Ethereum or Zcash, those are 3 coins that I invest in. They're all running on a blockchain, and they're all running based on the rules of the blockchain. And so I said we should start there and just make sure that everybody knows. Even some people that have Masternodes might not really understand that. To make it easy, Investopedia has a very nice article on blockchain. So I'm not going to spend a lot of time going through it, But the picture that I snagged for this presentation, which is the transaction process, helps people to understand what's really going on, right? So basically a blockchain, it's a type of database. And you create entries to the database called blocks, and they all chain together and they form one cohesive transmission line and ledger, right? So the key thing about why crypto likes to be on a blockchain is because every single transaction that happens around the crypto coin or the smart contract or whatever it is that you're doing is transparent on that blockchain. And you can go to the Explorer and look at it, and you can see the transactions that apply to you. You can see all the transactions. It could get overwhelming because there's a lot of things that are happening on a blockchain, but you can specifically look at the things that point to your wallet, and you can see how much should be in your wallet to make sure you're synced properly. If you have masternodes, you can see the IP addresses. You can see the status of them, whether they're up and working or not, right? So everything kind of works off of the blockchain. I'm sure there's going to be some blockchain questions, so I'm going to move on with this. Just understand that the masternodes sit on the blockchain, and that's how it all works. So why a blockchain? You know, I talked a little bit about it because it's accurate and it's efficient and it's secure and it's transparent, so you can see everything that's going on. And it can be decentralized, and it can run smart contracts. Now, decentralization, that's where everybody's moving. That's the utopia that everyone wants to move to, where the blockchain and the computers that are on the blockchain control all of everything, right? And you don't need human beings to interface in the middle of it. But I can tell you there's a lot of Fortune 500 companies that are running their own blockchains where they control the whole blockchain. And they get their B2B partners to sign up and get on their blockchain, and they actually do their financial transactions by way of the blockchain. So it's easier and it's quicker, and it's you don't have to report everything. You know, you do it the way you want to do it. So some businesses have agreed to transact that way. So in this case, it's still a blockchain. It's just that we're using it a little bit differently. And we're moving towards decentralization, which is the Cowrie discussion. Smart contracts, that's part of the Cowrie discussion. And that's so that you can, and you've probably all seen Tavana's very well done YouTube video that describes what's happening with the smart contracts and why we're moving to BNB, Binance, because they're offering a service whereby it's basically blockchain as a service, so you can get on it and then you can start building your stuff. It's very cost effective to do it that way, and Binance is one of the top exchanges out there, so it's going to get a lot of natural traffic, which will attract people once they start seeing the rest of the numbers that are around Guapcoin, and it'll encourage them to buy, right? So this is kind of how we do it without Elon Musk sending out a bunch of tweets about Dogecoin. This is a natural thing that happens when you go to Binance as you begin to see the other top coins. Breaking it down, this is what it looks like. You've got a bunch of masternodes that are on this blockchain, and they are controlling everything that's there. So breaking it down from what it could be between B2B and all that kind of stuff, this particular blockchain was built for the Guapcoin, right? And you need masternodes on there to maintain the integrity of the blockchain, as well as to keep that ledger, which is all the transactions. So everybody knows where everything is at any time. Very transparent. You can run DApps, decentralized applications on their smart contracts. It could be done. The mission of the foundation is to go the Binance route. But certainly when this was built, it was capable of being able to do some of that. And so now you got to put a computer, usually it's a virtual private server. You've got to put a server out on this blockchain, and that costs money. So, individuals that are doing this have to be incented to continue to maintain their master nodes out on the blockchain. Without the master nodes, blockchain won't work. So you got to have the master nodes. The more you have, the faster transactions are, the better the whole ecosystem is. So that's why they generate master node rewards, right? That's where it's coming from. So as you get a chance to be a part of it, to solve an equation that allows your master node to validate the transaction that just happened on the blockchain, when you do that, you get a reward. And we're going to talk. This is what leads up to why I think Guapcoin is probably right now the best masternode coin that's out there. But that's why this works. That's how the rewards get generated, and it's all kind of done based on the rules that are set for the blockchain. It's not necessarily somebody that's got to be out there with a pencil and marking it all down. That's why we put the masternodes out there. So this is really a question to say, okay, now that you understand what the masternodes are doing and that you are able to generate rewards, and that you are participating in everyone else trying to use the blockchain with your masternode. So then what becomes best? Is it best that Guapcoin is a currency? And we'd like to see it in a lot of different stores, a lot of different businesses. We'd like to see a lot of people using it. Or is it an investment system because of the masternode and the rewards you can generate? And so the focus of where I'm going from here is the investment system piece, because that's the part for me. I love the mission of Guapcoin, and I think it's great to use it as a currency. But if you invest in a masternode, it's better than a savings account, right? So talking a little about that, this is the two ways that I do it. So first of all, I do solo masternode hosting, where I go out and I get a virtual private server. And then I put 10,000 Guapcoins on it because you need that collateral as defined by the blockchain. And all the software and everything, this is all open source. There's no hidden anything. It's all sitting out on GitHub, and anybody can go out there and get it and then get a server and apply the code, right? It does require some expertise, but you're going to get a larger payback. Right now, I'm averaging about 23 coins a day per server. So that's pretty nice. And when this gets up to $1 or $2, $5, it's going to be real nice, because I'm still going to be generating guap without having to buy the guap. And that's what makes this such a good investment. The numbers will change as the amount of Guapcoin that you will generate each day. That's defined in the blockchain as well. When it gets to certain clip levels, it halves, and then you get half as much as you used to. And then when it gets to the next clip level, it halves again. The foundation looked at the halving scheme and put out a vote to all the masternode holders to say, let's extend this so we don't start halving on the next schedule, because we're now really getting to pick up steam. We got a bunch of people. I think there's about 2,000 people in Telegram. We got a bunch of people that are seeing it and want to get involved. So they've pushed that out. We've agreed to push it out. And the dev team is now working on the code change. When they make that code change, I got to go change all of the master nodes so that they are in sync with it. But that's my solo masternode farm. I also contribute to Grow Your Guap. So I just have a couple of little pieces that are out there, and it's running every day. Major differences: I have to pay for the servers. I have to manage the servers under the solo masternode, whereas Grow Your Guap does that for me. But the way they get paid is they only pay me for a full node. They only pay me 16 guap a day, right? So I'm getting 23, and I can pull out whenever I want. It's mine. So if I decide I want to shut down a masternode, take 10,000 off of that particular server because there's 30,000 on it, and I want to spin up another server, I don't have any kind of rules that say I have to stay where I am for any period of time. So it gives you a little bit more freedom. Again, you got to have a little bit of expertise. You got to understand what you're looking at. And then you can get things up and running. And if you need help, you go to Telegram, you go to the support room, you go to the dev room. Those guys are sharp and they can help you out with anything that's like that, right? Any kind of questions you might have that are around that, that area. So let's specifically talk about what I'm doing so that I can bring this kind of to a close, and then we can have a Q&A. I have 9 masternodes today in my farm. And just so you know, this isn't something I put in the presentation, but it's probably relevant. From my tracking, I track them every day. I've got reporting and spreadsheets and all that stuff because I'm learning. So I want to understand what I do, and when I do it, how does it apply to the outcomes? I have an area where I go in and I do some comparisons, and I come back to figure out how much of my total inventory of Guapcoin I actually bought and how much of it I have earned. So I've been doing this since around September, and I am now at 52% earned of my total guap. So it didn't take long to get there. Basically, if we were in Vegas, we'd be playing with house money right now, right? So that's where you want to get to. You want to get to the point where you're collecting so much guap by adding more masternodes that it generates enough so that you can bring up another masternode, which helps you to do more, right? And then at some point when you need to spend it like currency, you turn it off, you go grab that guap, and you use it any way that you feel like you need to, right? So I've got on one VPS, the cost range, depending on where you go, is about between $5 and $10 for a cloud VPS server, right? And there's several places you can go to, and it's also in GitHub. They give you some ideas about where you can go. But if you just go out and Google VPS, you can go to a lot of different places and you can rent a server. You don't have to have a contract, and for whatever their price is. There are some VPSs that are considerably more expensive, but you can find them in the $5 to $10 range. So just for this example, 9 VPSs at $10 a month for a year comes out to $1,080. And what that really means is that I'm generating daily rewards, those 23, and it's costing me about $3 a day, right? My average rewards with the 9 is 210. So if you go back and you average them out across the 365 days, that's how I got to these numbers. You end up with the actual cost is 33 cents a day for each. You take the $3 and you divide 23. And so you end up, each guap you're getting each guap for 33 cents a day. You get 23 guap for 33 cents a day. That's the way that the numbers fall out, right? And in the next slide, I'm going to talk a little bit about the comparison, because you're sitting there and you're going, 33 cents a day. Wow, that's is that good? Is that bad? Well, spot price when I did this presentation was 20 cents. I think it's at 19 something now, 19.2, 19.3, something like that. So at 20 cents, if you were buying the same amount of guap each day, it would cost you $4.60 to buy it. 23 times 20 cents costs you $4.60 to buy it. But if you're running a node and you're generating the 23, it only costs you 33 cents a day. So there's a huge opportunity for not only for now at 20 cents, but when it gets up to $1, when it gets up to $2, that purchase price goes up. And you end up, if you wanted 23, you'd end up paying, if you go up to $2, you'd end up paying $46, right? But your hosting stays the same because the host is a fixed price. It's $10 per device per month. If you manage to get a $5 deal, it's half of that. So it's a big disparity. If you compare this to the Grow Your Guap, or some other guap pool that you might be participating in, the number is going to be less than buying it at 20 cents. But I'm going to generate more in an individual node that I'm hosting. So that's kind of the math that I use to get here. And just in looking at these numbers, my conclusion is I don't see another coin that's out there right now that's a Masternode coin that can generate this kind of guap at these prices. It's which now there are other Masternode coins, but to get started with them, you're probably looking at they're already in $8, $9, $10 range. So coming in now, when the Guapcoin is priced as it is, and understanding the mission and the vision and what we're trying to do, my gamble is we're going to get to $1. We're going to get to $5. I'm hoping to get to $10, right? And then the prices for hosting rewards stays the same. Now, when I add another Masternode down the road so that I get them faster, then that price is going to go up, but it's going to be even. It's going to be another $10 a month or another $5 a month. When Guap goes up to $10 per coin at 23, you see the difference, right? So that's what I was trying to illustrate to Akolo, and I wasn't doing a very good job of doing that just talking. So I needed to put together some numbers so that would be there. So that moves into really quick. I have now started a Masternode as a service offering. And what happened was I went to some people and I was talking about, this is what I'm doing and this is how I'm doing it. And if you want in, I'll bring you in. And as I was setting them up, I started building a system around it so that I could bring in anybody who wanted to join. So this is what you got. This is right today. I have a bring your own guap. If you bring 10,000, I will configure it into a Masternode for you, and I will host that Masternode for $125 for a year. And then after that, any subsequent years, $99 a year. And that includes me making all of the code changes that come through and all the rest of that stuff. And of course, as it grows, I'll be bringing in some additional help. I got some guys that are really good at this stuff, and we're just waiting to see if it grows or not. If you choose not to do this and you wanted to go with a different service or something like that, and you still have questions, feel free to reach out to me. I am more than happy to share everything that I've learned in this space because it benefits the mission, right? And that's probably why you might be looking at these and going, wow, he's going to take care of a Masternode for me for $125. That seems pretty cheap. And I'm not trying to make a whole bunch of money doing this. I just need to cover my time and the hosting fees, and then allow you to participate in this service the way that I'm doing today. So that's my pitch. That's the whole thing. I will pause now for questions and see if anybody has any and address them as best I can. And then we'll get Akolo back on here to talk about the other any of the other items.
So Jim, this is Mark Purnell. Just so that I make sure it's clear, I have to buy 10,000 guap somewhere else because you're not going to sell it to me, but I have to acquire the guap and it's going to cost me about 20 cents. So my investment is $2,000.
That's correct.
And I bring the guap to you, and then at 23 guap a day, I'm going to get $1,679 worth of value, assuming the guap stays at 20 cents.
Correct.
If it goes higher, I get more. If it goes less, if it's if the value of guap drops, then obviously it's less. But $1,679 divided by $2,000 works out to be about an 83% return in year one.
Mm-hmm.
So I just wanted to make sure I got the numbers right. And thank you very much for all your efforts to support the Guap mission.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And yeah, and see, and that's the big thing. That's why I was saying, when I first looked at it, I went, whoa, this is, I mean, whoa, right? Now, there's a risk, right? Full disclosure, Guapcoin could be a penny at some point, right? But you really, as far as the cause is concerned, you haven't put $1,679 out there on the year. You put 120, and then you do what you can. You do your part to help to generate the buzz and get the word out, tell your friends, that sort of thing, because this is all, organic, and it's groundswell, and we're letting people know. And then in addition to that, Tavana's doing a lot out there. I've been invited to several different online presentations where she's been participating with other people that are strong in the crypto space as she is. And there was some discussion on a call not too long ago about getting involved with the Black Wall Street project, right? And there's been some talk about the project that's going on in Georgia, right? And there's some stuff going on overseas in Africa. So all of these things will contribute to the price. So we're at the low side now. As these things start coming in, supply and demand is going to drive the price up. And so you can get in now and you can generate cheaply. By the way, you don't have to buy the 10,000. You just have to spin up a Masternode and transfer it. So if you've already got 10,000 sitting somewhere else, it doesn't have to be new. You can take that existing 10,000 and then transfer it to the Masternode. And what I do is I create a wallet for you that you have full transparency on. So I give you the wallet ID and I show you how to look it up in Explorer, in the Guap Explorer, and you can see all the transactions. You can see everything that's happening with it. And when you're ready to pull out, we know what the number is, and I go in there and I clear that wallet out and I transfer that to you, and then you have your Guap, right? And then you can do whatever it is. If another project that comes along is better, then move it on over there. Those are the kinds of things that I'm doing. And side note, just so everybody knows, full disclosure, I'm looking for other ways to grow Ethereum. I'm looking for other ways to grow Bitcoin. But from a Masternode perspective, you don't want to be anywhere near Bitcoin mining. That is way too expensive and way too competitive. Corporate entities have warehouses full of computers vying to solve the problem first. So this actually ends up being a little bit of risk, a lot of reward, and it's helping the mission. So thanks for that, Mark. Any other questions?
You can either raise your hand, or if there's silence, you can just go ahead.
A great presentation, Jim. Thank you.
You're welcome, Jared. My pleasure.
Get low. Go ahead with your question.
Yes, I've got a question.
Okay, Get Low's on mute still, so go
ahead.
Ben.
Go ahead, Get Low.
I am so sorry. I did not notice I was on mute. Thank you. Thank you for telling me.
Okay.
First of all, I was saying it was a great presentation. I didn't have much to say, but I was going to say that, you gave a really great presentation. But when you were speaking about the price of Guap going down, I was going to say, and maybe you can agree or disagree, or, we can figure out how you feel about it. But no matter what, with having a Masternode, like you said, if you were trying to mine Bitcoin, it would be beyond expensive. But when you have such a thing as a Masternode that is at this price and at this availability, let's just say, because I was there when Colo was there too, when Guapcoin was worth 0 in comparison to any other form of currency, and now we were worth 2 cents. But the thing is this, when you have a Masternode, those coins are going to generate no matter if Guap is worth $1, or if Guap is worth 20 cents, or if Guap is worth 2 cents. No matter what happens, we're consistently going to be generating more and more Guap. So the key is to always have more. Would you agree?
Absolutely, 100%. And I would also say that, you know, I did the whole thing in the beginning where I said I'm not a fortune teller and I'm not a financial advisor and all of that stuff. But there's a whole lot of upside here. Very little downside, a whole lot of upside. And you know, like I said, I stay connected to hear what's going on, to see if there's places where I can jump in to help, because I want to see $10. You know, I want to see, you know, I got 9 Masternodes. So and in by May 22nd, I'll have 10. And when I get to 10, I start rolling. And a couple of months after that, I'm doing 2 Masternodes a month, right? I want to see $10. And there's potential to get there. But you know, you gotta, you know, when you do a presentation like this, you gotta put it out there. This disclaimer, it's a gamble. So is the stock market. You know, so is a lot of investment opportunities. There's a gamble, so you have to be aware of it. But then you start weighing out upside and downside. For me personally, I'm investing in Guapcoin. So thank you for that comment, Gil. I appreciate it. You have another one? Your hands
Actually,
up.
I do. You touched on another point. You said that you don't necessarily have to go out and buy Guapcoin. You said if you already have 10,000 coins, you can bring your old 10,000 coins out there also. I was just going to say that that could be an excellent segue into the fact that if you don't have 10,000 coins, you might have a service that you offer that is legitimate and good for our community to know about. Maybe it will reach globally. Maybe it only reaches locally. A lot of us are out on the East Coast and some are on the West Coast. You can offer your service and offer that to the community. And as long as you have a wallet for us to pay and a service that's going to be rendered, that's another way to accumulate the exact same coin that you were thinking about buying. So this goes much further and much deeper than buying, holding, waiting to invest, turning it into United States dollars. This goes into, if you're an attorney, we need that. If you're a dog breeder, hey, let me know what kind of dogs you can bring out. You know, we need anything that you can think of. We need nail technicians. I posted that in the Facebook group and I haven't heard anything back. So just wanted to say, I mean, just another way of accumulating the coin if you can't get your paws on it. I mean, your hands on it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. Terrell had raised his hand next, I think. Terrell Mitchell.
Hey, how's it going?
Good, good.
I have a question about marketing. I was in the ambassadors group and I was kind of wondering what are the marketing efforts and also can we would it be possible for the Masternode holders I guess to kick back just a little bit in order to get the marketing jump started, to have a budget so that every month, you know, we can expect to reach X amount of people and we can kind of use some analytics on that and grow it to scale?
That's a great question, and I'll let Akolo take that because there's a lot of things that are going on right now, and I'm not privy to all of them. Akolo, is this a convenient time?
Sure. So first, of course, the Guap Foundation accepts donations. You can go to guapfoundation.org and find the link there. Just, you know, part of the changes that we're making to the blockchain is there will be a treasury. Now the treasury is not for marketing, but the treasury will bring marketing because we're going to be doing things like, you know, offering grants and other micro loans, et cetera, et cetera. So there's going to be a whole bunch of things that we're going to be doing as a community of Masternode holders, as a blockchain, that are going to warrant marketing. But to your point, absolutely. We've not gone over fully the budget. Our budget this year is about $180,000. We're not a teeny weeny operation right now. So yes, we need a lot of donations. We need donations in cash. We need donations in Bitcoin. We need donations in Guap. We need all of the above. So absolutely, anyone who's generating those Guap every day and you're sitting there, you know, absolutely, we would more than welcome the donations. In terms of setting up something quote unquote official or requirement, of course, we can't do a requirement, But if you want to lead an effort to sort of rally the community, I'll be right there with you and saying, yes, absolutely. I would love it if more people would donate to the foundation. Go ahead and with your follow-up question.
I don't know that I would have a follow-up question. It seems like there are a lot of opportunities for people within the community to take initiative and to kind of help out where they can. So I appreciate you, extending that opportunity.
Absolutely. And I will just say, if there's anything that you feel, don't even say, okay, well, where do you guys need help? No, that's the wrong question. You stand up and say, this is my area of expertise, and we will find a place for you. And there's, there's a lot of work, and the more hands we have, the better it will be. And if you send a message and you don't get an immediate reply, send another one. And then you can then be the one that's going to be answering the questions next time. So this is 100% a community effort. And even the Guap Foundation members, we're simply community members who have stood up and said, you know what? Yes, I believe in this. I want to be a part of this. And, we might spend a little bit more time than the average person. I think almost everyone on the foundation has a full-time job and works Guap full-time. So don't tell me how those numbers work out. But so who was the next question? I think I saw Jeff.
Jeff, you're on mute. Let's jump over to Yvonne.
Yeah, we'll hold Jeff. Okay, go ahead, Yvonne.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. I just want to say I appreciate everything, Jim, that you're bringing to the table. The clarity, the way that the processes are clear. And I also appreciate the access, understanding the concept of the access. I think I've always thought of, I have to come out of my pocket for, for obtaining Guap. Now I'm a registered nurse, and I could offer Guap for my services. I'm the kind of nurse that likes to keep people out of the hospital. So I talk to you ahead of time and help put plans in place to keep you well and healthy, whether you're an athlete like Jared Johnson, or, you just have a little thing that you want to kind of work through and just need some help and guidance through. I can just take Guap for that, and I can work towards my Masternode. I was just trying to figure out, how do I build this with, buying a Guapcoin out of pocket. So I want to appreciate also Get Low for just the idea, and just the brilliance in this community has really been inspiring. So I just want to thank you all for everything you're bringing to the table, and I'm just looking forward to offering my services that way.
Hear, hear. That's
Absolutely.
great.
And
Thank you.
this is a very excellent point. For someone who's coming in, quote unquote, off the street, doesn't really have much money, doesn't have much, you just find what your skill is. I mean, we all know probably that Tavana is a cardologist. If you're into cardology, go ahead and put up a sign and say, hey, I'll do card readings for so much Guap. And just everybody, if they could get involved with the community, get involved with the ecosystem, everyone starts participating, everyone ends up becoming a merchant. So everyone only spending Guap, growing Guap, accumulating Guap, and we're already rolling, but then when we really get rolling, I really don't even think have any idea what's really coming. And of course, as Jim said, I'm not a fortune teller. There are no guarantees, but I see what's going on, and there's not really most of this that we're doing. You guys are aware of. There might be some details and some specific conversations with specific people that until the ink is dry, we don't necessarily announce. But the big picture, where we're moving, as you said, conversations with other countries, industries, the cannabis industry is going to be potentially very, very large for us. The decentralized exchange, the cowrie shells, DeFi, the whole DeFi space. And all of these are things that we're just like, we can almost reach out and touch them all. And that's outside of all of the amazing and wonderful things that we've already been able to accomplish and with a completely and totally bootstrap operation. So, I want to say thank you to everyone here. I want to say thank you to all the community members, all the Masternode holders, for all of your support. And, let's just keep on going.
Jim, I have one
There
other,
was a,
excuse me, Okola, one quick question. Jim, when you were saying B2B, were you meaning business to business, like person to person, wallet to wallet type thing? Is that what you're talking about?
Some of the Fortune 500 companies have created blockchains to be able to do the payment and receipt work, so they don't have to go through banks. So yes, in that case, business to business, they are using, but those aren't like our blockchain. Our blockchain is us, right? And there isn't a central place that controls all the master nodes. That's what some of the businesses are doing, because it's faster, and as they collect the transactions, they can report easier and all those kinds of things. So some of them have made a move. I know Maersk was one of the early adopters. And so if you're, and I wouldn't be surprised if Walmart isn't doing it soon, because they can kind of command their vendors to do, everybody wants to be in Walmart, right? So what Maersk said was, if you're doing work with me, you can save money by keeping the bank out of it, and we'll put up our own money and we'll transfer tokens that represent, right? And then you can pull it out of that centralized area anytime you want. That's one way that blockchain is being used.
Okay, so then as a service provider, I could offer services and someone could, just wallet to wallet would be a transfer, right?
Well, yeah, and see, so wallet to wallet would be more of, if they're already, if it's wallet to wallet and it's Guapcoin, then they're on this blockchain.
Right.
So everybody's participating on the blockchain can pass wallet to wallet, no problems. We, with Guapcoin, would not be able to participate in one of those B2B services because they keep them between themselves. So,
Understood.
yeah,
Understood.
you got a lot of options on this blockchain.
Okay, understood. I just had someone get a Guap wallet so that I could send Guap to them, and then we can exchange between each other. Okay.
There you
Okay,
go.
great.
That's
Thank
perfect.
you. Thank
You're
you.
welcome. Let's see, Keith Ellis.
Jared.
Oh, okay. Is that you? Yeah, it sure is. Come on off mute, Jared.
Yeah, I had a couple quick questions. There was a earlier call some time ago where we were asking Tavonia about, in a sense, marketing, and one of the things that she said was most important was the number of wallets, because somehow that helps to qualify us for what exchanges that we could be on. Is that still something that's true and necessary? Is the first part of the question. And then if it is, as Masternode holders, it seems to me that we could incentivize or create a competition in who can bring the most number of new wallets to the table if it benefits the Guap mission and the stability of the price. Any feedback on that?
I haven't directly been involved with the conversations, but what you're describing to me just sounds like exchanges that want to make sure that there's going to be activity. So number of wallets would be one of the things they'd look at. The total market cap would be something they would look at, those kinds of things. I had a conversation with a gentleman that part of, I think, PwC now. And he was looking into some things like that. And he said, those are some of the first things that you look at to make sure that any particular coin is viable. You go out to CoinGecko and you'll see there's like 2,000 coins out there. So you want to make sure that people are working on it, people are updating. the code. There's a GitLab place for it. There's conversation going on Facebook. All these things show you that there's activity, and all of the top coins have this activity, white papers and roadmaps and all of that kind of stuff. So I would imagine, Jared, that is also one of the points that shows you that there's a community that's putting their money into it, and that there is activity, and that might be a gate for getting into a specific exchange. I'm real excited about going to Binance. Binance, if you're looking for one place to go, Binance has to be in your top 5 of it if you're only picking one, right? Because they offer so much. They have a lot of options, a lot of trade options, a lot of different coins. But then we're going to get on this new chain that they've created that's going to allow us to smart contracts, which is even more exciting. So I think that might have been some of the things we were talking about. I also heard we were close to getting on the Coinbase. Coinbase, I think right now is the #1 exchange out there. And it's tied with Coinbase Pro. So you can do the complicated market buys, or you can just go out and request a buy for X number of coin of whatever it is you're trying to buy. So it kind of marries the two. And they also do institutional accounts. So my business, I have an application in that should be approved any day now, so that my business can participate under an EIN number as opposed to me under my social security number. So there's a lot of good reasons to get into those kinds of exchanges, and that's probably part of their filtering process.
I appreciate that, Jim. And I just wanted to follow up too, because I use CoinGecko and Coinbase to look at different things. And when I look at CoinGecko, it says the available supply of guap is 0. And it said that a number of times. And I don't quite understand that.
It's just an API issue.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I think it is too, because I've seen it correctly. And so you want to know the real numbers on Guapcoin without the API?
Yes.
You go to the Explorer, the Guapcoin Explorer, and all of those details should be there. And then information comes from there through APIs into CoinGecko. There's about 5 of them that are really good. If you Google CoinGecko, all the rest of them will pop up. Market cap price, I think, is one of them. So that you can see what they're reporting along with the other stuff that they're reporting. But if you see something erroneous like that, the supply ain't 0, because you're getting rewards. So it's a kind of a technical snafu.
Okay. All right. I'll leave it there for other people. I do have some other stuff that we can bring to another meeting.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Let's see. Keith Ellis is up. Did you mean to raise your hand? And if you're talking, you're on mute.
Yes, sir. Sorry about that.
There you go.
First of all, thank you for your information. And second of all, I'm completely green at all of this. I just bought some guap from an individual who hosted a cardiology room back in March, and I got it through PayPal. And I had a guap wallet maybe like a month prior to, and for some reason there was a significant room that day, and I just decided to buy some coins, and I decided to buy them maybe 2 days before it went up to 537. But I had no idea on what to do, on how to transfer them, how to put them into an exchange, to put them into my account. Is there any forum that I can go to learn more? I tried to go on YouTube, I tried to go on Facebook, and I couldn't figure it out. So is there any forum I can go to that could give me some more information on what I need to do to transfer my coins to a certain exchange? I know Probit's one of them. What can I do?
Today, Probit is the only one. That's the only exchange we're on. And so you can move from Probit to your wallet, and from your wallet to Probit. if you trade on Probit, the trading pair is Guapcoin and Bitcoin. So you can trade your Guapcoin for Bitcoin, and then you can move to a Bitcoin wallet. And there's a lot more places where that are accepting Bitcoin. Just about everybody accepts it. If you don't accept Bitcoin, you're missing out, right? So you can move it around that way as well. But you can move it to any wallet that's already on the Guapcoin blockchain. So if you had multiple wallets and you wanted to move from one to another, if you got a desktop wallet, you wanted to move it over to a different desktop wallet, or to a wallet that I create so that I can spin up a Masternode for you or anything like that. Those are all just simple transfers. And otherwise you'd have to trade to get that to work. And I usually go, I either go to Cash App or I go to Coinbase and I buy Bitcoin, and then I transfer that over to Probit, and then I trade for Guapcoin, and then I transfer that back to my desktop, and then I can use that 10,000 collateral to spin up a Masternode. And it's a lot to do to get there, which is another reason why we're trying to get on Coinbase and we're trying to get into Binance and those kinds of things to make that a little bit easier to do. Now, there are some people that if you go out to Telegram and you go to the general room or you go to the support room, there's folks that are out there that can help you as well. Some people may even say to you, hey, I want your Guapcoin, and if you're willing to transfer it to me at X per, I'll pay you the cash that you're looking for. So that about exhausts my areas of knowing where the stuff is right now.
What I will just tell you, we are very, very, very close to, what do I want to say? We have been in discussions with other exchanges, and without going into too many details right now, I will just say that we're very, very close. So we have applied to Coinbase already, but there's others that, that we just have to pay to get on. So some of them are very, very, very expensive. And so sometimes people are like, oh, why aren't you on 1 million exchanges? It's like, well, that one you just mentioned might be $50,000. We may not just have $50,000 sitting around. So, but we are getting very close to being on at least one other exchange, hopefully Coinbase as well.
Okay, I just got Telegram. I just literally got this app maybe a week ago. So do I go in and search for a particular general room or support room or
Guapcoin? Yeah.
Thank you, sir.
And then from there you can branch into the different rooms that you might need, depending on how your conversation goes.
Okay, thank you. Appreciate it.
You're very welcome. So it's the top of the hour. If people have to drop, I'll hang around and answer more questions. If I see there's still a bunch of hands up, if folks have questions, I'd be happy to stick around for another 15 minutes or so.
There are a couple more questions. Patricia wants to add something in real quick.
Okay.
Good evening. I was so excited when you, Jim Bell, mentioned, we're at Howard University. My daughter's just been accepted and we're visiting. So I was really excited because I usually think outside of the box. And when I started telling people that they could actually use their gifts and talents to grow their Guap wallets, it might have seemed a little strange, but I'm not going to give up easily at all. But it seems like it's catching on, and I've started a program. It's an initiative within the community called Hometown Heroes Accept Guap. And we're looking for people within the community where I live and the online community to utilize Guap for their talents, gifts, and abilities. And it's just a really, really cool way to increase your holdings. And once again, like I've been telling everyone, and I'm not going to stop anytime soon, that rewarding children Guap as allowance works. And my children, they are loving it, and they are trading Guap amongst themselves. And it's wonderful that my children are learning about cryptocurrency and the exchange value. And they're just as interested in, building their guap portfolio as we adults are. And I'm just so grateful for Okolo introducing me to guap about 6 months ago. And together we have around 32 masternodes, and we're trying to have the most. So good luck, Jim.
Well, thank you. You got a heck of a head start. And congratulations on your daughter getting into Howard. That is awesome.
Thank you.
Yeah, and I agree with you 100%. I think there's a lot of different ways to get at this, and getting the word out and getting more people to participate is certainly step one. So
I just wanted everyone to say hi to the Howard person coming in.
hey.
So we've sort of been double dutying as we've been touring, but I appreciate everyone's patience.
yeah, no, that's fantastic.
But I see there's the next question seems to be from Keith. Go ahead, Keith.
Keith, was your hand up for another question, or you didn't take it down yet?
I apologize. I didn't take it down. I'm taking it down right now.
No worries. No worries.
Okay, we have another history maker in the room. We've got Kenneth Brown, who was the first brick and mortar business that Patricia approached to accept Guapcoin. And we got to go back and look at those numbers, Ken, because your first transaction, I can't remember how much Guap you got, but I think Guap was somewhere around 2 or 3 cents. And we bought, I think it was maybe a $40 or $50 meal. So this is going to be a Bitcoin story one day, but go ahead, Ken. If you're still there, Ken, you're on mute. Go ahead.
Yes, hi, how you doing, Okolo and everybody? I apologize for having my camera off, but I am relaxing and disrobed. So I just want to say thank you, Jim, for your exquisite soliloquy. Very informative. And by the way, my first purchase of Guap was at 1.6. So I'm loving the growth. I'm still trying to understand it. And I'm looking at Probit. And I see that when I see 18,077, is that how much is available for sale? Is that the total amount available for sale?
I want to answer that.
Go ahead.
All right, so now I want to make sure I hear your question correctly. You're trying to ask when you're looking at, because I'm looking at Probit right now. I'm always looking at Probit. When you're looking at it, you're perfect. Thank you. Somebody's pulling it up. If you go to you're talking about going to the exchange or just going to your wallet?
To the exchange.
Okay, so to the left of the exchange, I see it's already live. So if you move over to the exchange is right next to the word Probit. Right next to the word, there you go.
Yeah.
All right. There you go. Guap is right there. Now, if you go to the red side right there where it says 0376, and I want to put this out there before we even get into Guap right now. There is nothing about cryptocurrency that it requires more than multiplication, division, addition, and subtraction. Those 4 things will answer all of your questions in the world. This is nothing more than a banking system. So don't let any of the zeros fool you. Don't let the 20-cent USDT fool you. And don't let the price of Guapcoin, Bitcoin, or any of those other things fool you. We can give you the reasons why they have those numbers there just by doing a little bit of multiplication, division, or adding and subtracting. Okay, so go for your question. And we are looking at the exchange right now. This is what I wanted to touch on with my hand up. So please go ahead.
Well, I'm looking at order book. And
yes, sir.
I see at the top at 590, it says total 18,077. Is that the maximum amount of Guap available to purchase?
At that
very, if you hit the plus button, you'll see. I mean, if you hit the plus sign, you'll see more.
Exactly.
Okay, the plus. Okay, got it.
Okay.
All right.
So if somebody wanted to come in and buy two Masternodes, it's available at some price.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, sir.
Okay, got it. Okay, thank you.
You're
Now,
welcome.
and to dig in more to what you're saying, and I want people to hear this too. When you're going to an exchange, and we have all of these exchanges that everybody wants to see us on, and that's a good thing. But no exchange is different than the other wholeheartedly. Some of them offer maybe perks. That's it, just perks. But they all work the exact same way. Now, since we're looking at this screen live, if you were trying to buy your Guapcoin and you want to buy your Guapcoin immediately, okay, you have to figure out how many Guapcoin do you think it is that you're going to be able to purchase with the coins you have, okay? So if we're all looking at 380, whoever wants to purchase 1,868 coins, 0.9972, that person would click right up there at 3.8, okay? Or if you wanted to buy 2,000, see, 1,800 is not going to get you to 2,000. So if you want to go up to 2,000 and make what they call a market purchase, which is an immediate purchase of coins, you would go up to 4.2. So when you click on 4.2, immediately it's going to give you 2,425 in the buy section in the green if you go down to the bottom left, okay? Now, bottom right where it says buy. Now it immediately says 2,425. You don't want that. What you want is maybe just 2,000. What you have is the ability to purchase 2,000. So you type in 2,000 when you clear out the 2,425. And when you type in 2,000, that's going to tell you at the bottom how much Bitcoin you need to have in order to get 2,000 coins. So sometimes if you want to do the math before you even get there, all right, you can get to this point and figure out what it is that you need to bring to the table to get that amount of coins. The other gentleman was talking about purchasing, more coins. Well, if you want to get to 10,000 coins so that you can make your Masternode immediately, okay, immediately, that means you have to go right now all the way up to 540, where it says 12,000. And then you might type in, and this is what I always suggest, type in about 10,002 coins so you can make all your transfers from place to place so you can get it done. So 10,002 coins right now of Guapcoin would make it 0.10. No, that's not 10,002, that's 10,000. Do as you are saying. All right, that brings you to like 0.540108 of Bitcoin. Me, I always have a calculator for Bitcoin, BTC versus USD. So I can tell you real quick, just by taking that 0. whatever, just by taking that 0.54, 2 seconds. I'm sorry to slow that one down.
Just so you know, you can also
to,
just look. You can just look on the order book, and it'll tell you what the USD is if you drag your mouse over it.
Yes. And that should tell you exactly how much Oh yeah, it'll tell you exactly how much USD you need to use to get it in there. That'll make your order go through immediately. Everything below that, you're literally going to be waiting to see if someone's going to want to sell those coins. People at the top are buying coins or have coins for sale that you can buy immediately. People at the bottom are literally waiting for the price to come down. Now, you can't guarantee that the price is going to be coming down to you. And you also can't guarantee once you go up, we're going to stay up. But getting these coins now, no matter what, a colo, everyone will tell you that has a Masternode, this is a great time to get your hands on a Masternode because you will not see this opportunity coming with a lot of other coins, period. That's all I'm gonna say from there, unless there's any other questions about the order book.
Okay. Thank you, Gitlo. That was helpful.
And thank you. And I'm 24/7. Like, and Akolo's very real about that. There's a lot of help that's 24/7. So please just catch up with us. Our names float around. We're willing to help, but don't let any of these exchanges. Probit is just as good as Coinbase. Tavanya and the whole team worked really hard to get us on Probit. We were on another exchange before that, so we know exchanges. They can be a little bit quirky, but they're all the same. Buy, pick the price, you select it, and you send your coins back to your own personal wallet. So don't let them sell you what you don't need. And that's what they're doing to us. They're selling us what we don't need. We don't need Coinbase. We like Binance, but we don't need Binance. We really just need ourselves. And that's literally where Corey and all these other things come into play. Don't let any exchange make you feel like you're at a better exchange because they have an exchange. As long as they exchange your coins in a timely fashion, they're a good exchange. And that's all that matters.
The one thing I will say, of course, is that not all of us are as technical, and some people have trouble looking at all these numbers and pushing buttons here and calculating. And not that everyone can't learn, but we also know that for wide adoption, which is what Guapcoin's going to achieve, we're going to need really, really, really easy ways for people to achieve it. So you're right in terms of the technicality of what it takes to buy and sell it and trade it and transfer it. We also have to recognize there's some folks that, they just want to be able to push a button and say, I want $100 of Guap, push a button, and they instantly have it. And that is what we're also working towards.
Well, I've been.
Are there any other questions? Maybe throw out one more question.
Yes, I would like to know if this, I see this is being recorded. Can we get access to this recording, please?
Yes, you can. I put all of the recordings up on my YouTube. You can get it at youtube.ocolo.org. You'll see that I'm pretty consistent. Everything is pretty simple at .ocolo.org. So just go to youtube.ocolo.org. You'll be able to see past meetings, and this one will go up. I try to get it up within 24 hours. Don't typically get it up the same night just because somehow my phone starts ringing off the hook after these meetings. But yes, that's where it will be.
Subscribe to the channel so that every time he posts something, you get an alert for it. That's what I've been doing.
Absolutely.
And it's good content.
Absolutely. Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate it.
Mm-hmm.
So Jim, it's 9:15. You said you'd hold on with us for 15 more minutes. So I just want to say I really, really appreciate you. I appreciate what you've done. I think you've shed some light and put this in some context that really makes people understand just how powerful this is. So again, I want to say thank you for your effort, for what you put together, and the time that you spent with us tonight.
Yeah, it's my pleasure. Absolutely. And I'm around, I'm on Telegram, and I try to pay attention to Facebook and, all the other places. So your best bet to get anything answered is either going to be in support or with the dev team. But if you want to talk to me about something, I'm here too. So, and Gitlow's everywhere. I see him everywhere. So
usually 5 different places at once.
Yeah. Yeah. You got a couple of resources for questions.
I wanted to leave everybody with this thought of mine. Because if I knew what I know now when I first started, I would have been masternoding at a rapid rate last July. That's what I would have been doing. So I advise anybody anywhere to do that if at all possible.
Mm-hmm. And one thing I just want to clarify on that point is if anybody has 10,000 loose coins or more, run, don't walk, run and get a masternode somewhere, somehow from somebody. And if you want to ask me, I'll put you in touch with the resources that I know are available. You can talk to Jim, you can go to the Telegram. There's lots of people now who are offering this service. I'm actually very anxious to see Jim's reporting. Because from what he's telling me, his reporting just looks fantastic. So my next Masternode is gonna be with Jim just so I can see the reporting.
Okay, great.
I thank you, everybody, and thanks a lot, Jim, and thank you for all the participation and the wonderful questions.
Absolutely. Thanks, everybody. It was a pleasure.
Thank you.
And good luck out there.
One last question. I'm sorry. I just try to go in and subscribe to. I did subscribe to Ocolo Swin Clanton. Is that the
That's
right?
it.
That's it?
Yep,
Okay.
that's me.
All right, thank you.
Okay, take care, everybody.
All right, have a good night, everyone. Peace.
Good night.